Hello friends, how you doing? Day 1310. Hope you're doing amazing on this sunny, beautiful hump day. I want to come in and just talk to you a little about relationships. And so today specifically I'm talking about dating after healing from a failed relationship. And why am I coming to talk about this? Because a lot of times we don't talk about this, right? Nobody actually talks about what happens after you actually heal from your failed relationship. And it could be a very traumatizing relationship as well. And if you actually did right, then hopefully you've worked on your traumas, your childhood wounds, your triggers, right, to get to know you more and what happened and how to actually be a better partner for your future relationship. And so when you've actually taken the time to focus on yourself and you're actually ready to actually step back into dating, man, it's definitely a challenge because most people, they don't do the hard work of self-reflection and get to know themselves. They don't do the hard work of healing their childhood traumas, their attachment wounds. They don't do the self-reflection of getting to know what their red flags are, right? And so when you actually do the healing, then you start to notice red flags in everybody, right? And red flags isn't necessarily a bad thing per se if the other person is actually willing to admit it and also, more importantly, work on it and grow through it. Because we all have issues that we have to work through, okay? Nobody's perfect, and growth is a lifelong thing. And so as you actually start to get out back into dating, the thing is that you actually notice so many things that you're actually unwilling to compromise now that you've actually done your healing and learning more about yourself. Because hopefully now you actually trust your intuition. You can actually see the potential issues that can arise with people. And this time, you won't actually be willing to overlook them, right? How many of us have been in a traumatizing relationship? I've had two actually really traumatic relationships. But you know what? I'm grateful for them because I've learned so much through them. But once you heal, guess what? You now see a lot of things clearer, people's red flags. You don't let your feelings actually cloud your judgment and cut things off before they even begin. And so that's a huge challenge because again, so many people are so unaware of themselves. They're not very self-aware. And if you're not self-aware, it's hard to actually have a healthy relationship with another person. Because if you don't know yourself, how can you actually be present with the other person? And then when you actually realize that you've been doing the work and you've healed, or you're healing or continue to heal, that most people actually do not work on themselves. I don't know, nowadays, so many people, they're just seeking shallow connections, hookups, situationships, and they're perfectly fine with that. And they think there's nothing wrong with them. I'm not judging anybody. You can choose whoever you want. You're adults, right? But the thing is, there's no room to actually grow together. Because if they're set in their ways, they don't want to grow through the challenges, it's hard to, again, develop a relationship long term. Because no matter where you're at and who you are, you will be a different person in 5 years, in 10 years, in 20 years. So if you actually want something long term, you need to choose wisely who your partner is going to be. And hopefully they believe and are willing to do the hard work in terms of self-reflection and growing through the challenges and being able to actually come together with the partner and actually talk through the issues and communicate. And the thing is, man, coming out of that and being ready and wanting to date again, it's exhausting at times because, oh my gosh, especially on the dating apps, oh my gosh, it is full of people who have the same patterns that do not heal themselves, they don't take accountability, and they repeat the same cycles. And that can be exhausting, and at the same time, the loneliness can actually take a toll on you. But you have to remember that it's better to be single with high standards than to be in a relationship settling for less. Right? You gotta understand and believe that you are worth it. You are worth being loved and having a loving relationship. But if you don't believe that you are worth it, then guess what? You're going to continually attract the wrong type of people that cannot love you properly. And the thing is, everyone has been hurt. If you've been in a relationship, you've been hurt, right? But the challenge is that not everyone can actually address, process, or accept the traumas that they've experienced in their lives, or even seen in their lives. And that is a challenge if you want to actually have a healthy relationship. And so that's why I'm always talking about doing the hard work. A lot of people are willing to work hard in whatever, but the hard work is a self-reflection. It's the processing of the experiences you have, and most importantly, the emotions that come up when your triggers are triggered, right? We all have fear inside, but are we willing to look inside and address them and say, what the heck was that? Why did that happen? Where did that come from? What am I feeling? Are you able to name the emotion? Are you able to just sit with the strong feelings that are arising in your body and just to fully feel it? Because that is a part of the process of healing. We got to focus on ourselves first, because if we're not capable of actually being in a healthy relationship and loving someone correctly and the way that they should be loved, a part of that is because we haven't healed. We need to heal first. And that's one of the hardest things to go through. And you know what? It doesn't happen overnight. It may take months, years, and for some of your issues, it may take over a decade. Everyone is different. But I guarantee you it is worth the effort if you're willing to address those issues that you have. If you're willing to look in the mirror, strip yourself down, fillet yourself open, and just take a look inside. There is light and darkness in all of us. Everything's duality, right? Yin, yang, all that. And a lot of times we like to think highly of ourselves, or we like to think that we're a good person, but we also have a dark side. We all have the ugly parts that we may be embarrassed or shameful to even admit. Some people can't even admit that they were wrong. I guarantee you had a part in the relationship when it's good and when it's bad. I guarantee you that. And if you can't even admit that, then you might be a part of the problem. Not in just your current relationship or your past relationship, but probably all your relationships. And again, the first step, if you want to actually move forward, is you gotta take responsibility. Like, every relationship has two people, and both people have a part in how the relationship forms and progresses. And so, if you can't take responsibility, then I encourage you to look in the mirror and ask yourself why you can't take responsibility. Why can't you admit that you had a part in the failed relationship? Maybe it's just a relationship, maybe it's a situationship, maybe it's a marriage, whatever it is. We all play a part in it. Oh, but I really treated them well. Sure, maybe you have, but did you fail in setting healthy boundaries? Do you know how to say no? Do you know how to set limits in a healthy way? Do you know how to communicate? Or did you feel that they should know what you need because you've been together so long? That's very unhealthy. Assuming or wanting somebody to know what your needs are. Assuming you're an adult, use your words and communicate what you're feeling and what you're needing. But again, that starts with understanding who you are. What do you need? What are you feeling? If you don't even know, if you don't have words to surround all that stuff, then obviously it's a challenge to be able to communicate that to someone else. But that's why you have to do the hard work of actually healing and focusing on yourself. But there's many ways to do that. There's seminars, there's books, there's podcasts, coaching, therapists, psychotherapists, counselors, so many different things. But my hope is that you start. Okay? Because dating nowadays, oh my gosh. I don't know what it's like for you out there, but for me, it's so exhausting. It's like, really, like, how many healed people are there? Or people who are healing and willing to do the work? I find it's far and few in between. And, if you're not someone who's willing to put in the work to actually create a phenomenal, amazing relationship, I can't be with you. No judging anybody, but man, I want a phenomenal relationship. And you don't have to be perfect, because I know I'm not. But are you someone who's willing to put in some work? To just look at yourself in the mirror and actually work on some issues and communicate it with a partner. Because if both people are willing to do that, now you have potential to form a phenomenal, loving, healed, healthy relationship. Right? But it requires you to develop some skills. And essentially, it's tools. It's tools in your tool belt for your relationship. Okay? But anyways, that's how I want to share right now. I'm going to actually share some more in-depth things about relationships in the next few days, and that I know will actually help a lot of people understand certain behaviors in relationships. Okay? Anyways, have a phenomenal rest of your night, my friends. I'll see you tomorrow. Okay? Bye-bye.